Making any big change in your life can seem really scary, and when it comes to quitting drinking, it's right up there with one of those big life changes. And many people can be afraid about making that adjustment to their life, worrying about what an alcohol free life might look like for them. And in this video, we're going to look at 7 reasons why people are afraid to quit drinking. A huge number of people find themselves staying stuck because of a general fear of failure. They're worried that they're just not going to do it. They can't see themselves living an alcohol-free life, so they just don't bother. They stay where they are, and they never give themselves the opportunity to find out whether their life would be better if they removed alcohol. And sometimes there can be a reverse psychology at play. What if they actually succeed? What would happen then? What would change in their lives? Maybe their relationship is glued together by alcohol, and there's a fear that if they quit and they find a new, happy, peaceful and calm life without drinking, their relationship might shift. That fear, that worry about what's at risk without alcohol can be a big reason why many people stay stuck. When I was drinking every day, I thought people who were sober were boring. I thought they must have sad, miserable lives. Now, it turns out, after nearly 4 years without alcohol, that I was the one who was wrong. That was a false belief and it was holding me back. And many people find themselves afraid of quitting drinking because they fear that their life will become boring or they will become boring. Now, let me tell you, if you've ever been around people who drink and you're not drinking, you will know that it's the drinkers who are boring. Those people repeat themselves, they spray your face with spit when they're trying to talk to you, their volume goes up, they don't take in what you're trying to say. It can be a frustrating experience being around drinkers, and believe me, you'll quickly notice that they're the ones who are boring. On top of that, when we're drinking regularly or daily, we let go of the things that bring true joy into our lives. For me, I used to love painting, writing and exercising when I was younger, but when my drinking habit got out of control, I let go of all of those things. Alcohol stole the joy from the things that brought me true happiness in my life. When I quit drinking, those things returned back into my life again. So take a moment to consider whether alcohol has taken away the things from your life that actually stop it from being boring. Of course, when we stop drinking, we create more time, and it's important that we find the things we love so we can fill that time. A lot of people think that if you quit drinking, you're going to need loads of willpower, and they just don't have it. Now, the reality is that willpower is rather like a muscle. If I asked you to hold a heavy weight above your head and just stand there for hours on end, eventually your muscles would give up and you'd have to put the weight down. Well, that's how willpower works. It wears out. It doesn't last forever. So willpower can only get us so far. Whereas if we can completely change our mindset and look at the beliefs that are holding us back, then we can break free from alcohol without needing loads of willpower. Yes, there are times when we will need some willpower, when we might need to dig our heels in to get through a challenging moment. But more important is to actually change our beliefs and look at the reasons why we were drinking and how true those beliefs that drive the behaviour really are, because that is the key to finding complete freedom from booze. If we're staying sober day in, day out and relying on willpower, then we're probably going to have a challenge on our hands. So the reality is that we don't need bucket loads of willpower. A lot of people also worry about the stigma that comes with being someone who lives an alcohol-free lifestyle. Maybe you think people will label you an alcoholic or think that you're an addict or you have some kind of problem. Yet the reality is, for me, this is a lifestyle. It's a choice that I've made for myself that fits with my life, and I'm perfectly happy and comfortable with that. Thankfully, the stigma around alcohol has changed dramatically. There's a whole community of people who live the alcohol-free lifestyle, and it's an amazing place where you can find some of the most honest, open, vulnerable and trustworthy people you'll ever find. It really is something special. So for me, it's something that I'm proud to be a part of, something that I'm passionate about. It doesn't define me, but it's definitely part of who I am. So rather than thinking that there's a stigma attached to being alcohol free, think of everything you're going to gain by being part of that amazing community. Some people also worry that they're not going to have a coping mechanism if they don't have alcohol. When those uncomfortable feelings come to the surface, alcohol can be the perfect way of hitting the pause button. But that's all it does. But after we hit the pause button, those emotions are back with us again. They don't go anywhere. We've not dealt with them. And on top of that, we've often got a hangover or we've had a bad night's sleep. So they're all the more difficult to deal with. Essentially, alcohol becomes the fuel on the fire of those challenging emotions. Whereas when we quit drinking, we become able to find coping mechanisms that are healthy. The coping mechanisms that we were meant to use to deal with the challenging feelings. For example, if we feel angry, we might match it with a high energy coping mechanism like going for a run or punching a punch bag or chopping wood. Or if we're feeling quite sad, we might use a kind of calming or meditative coping mechanism to get ourselves through it. The list is endless, and it's each of our own responsibilities to find coping mechanisms that work for us. At times when you feel lonely, finding connection with somebody, going for a coffee with a friend is absolutely the right sort of coping mechanism. Opening a bottle of wine is not. It doesn't solve anything. It simply hits the pause button on the way you're feeling. And I'd also invite you to ask yourself, why do you feel the need to change the way that you're feeling at that particular point in time? What is wrong with the way you're feeling in that moment? And if there is something wrong with the way you're feeling, start to dig deeper, start to explore it. And if you're part of my program, you'll find lots of tools, techniques and lessons to help you through it. The website address for the program's on the screen. You can check it out right now. A lot of people also worry about what others will think. Maybe they'll lose some friends, or maybe they think people just won't like them if they're sober. Now, when I quit drinking, only one of my friendships kind of fizzled away, and that one was glued together by alcohol. The whole relationship revolved around alcohol. It really didn't bother me that that friendship faded into the distance. The great news was that I got myself out into the big wide world. I found new friends in activities that didn't revolve around alcohol. I joined an art class and I've joined a fitness boot camp, and I met loads of people there where alcohol wasn't at the centre of the stage. So actually, the reality is you'll probably end up making a lot more friends. And sure, maybe one or two of your friendships will fade away, but that's probably a good thing. The people who really care about you, the people who love you, they're going to support you, they're going to be on your side, and they're going to want you to succeed. A lot of people also hold back from experiencing an alcohol-free lifestyle because they think their life will never be the same. Well, actually, this one is true. Your life never will be the same if you quit drinking, but I mean that in a good way. I mean that in a way that you probably can't imagine if you've not had a break from alcohol. But we get so many gifts when we quit drinking, it's incredible. Everything changes, from our relationships to our motivation to our peace of mind. And there's another video on the screen right now that talks more about what you gain when you quit drinking. Have a look at that. Click on it now and you can watch it straight away. Check out what you gain and start to learn more about this. And hopefully you'll start getting excited about what an alcohol-free life can bring you.